In this video, I will explain how to install the latest version of Ubuntu on Virtualbox. I will also explain the common issues and errors you may face during the installation. Virtualbox allows you to run any operating system in a virtual environment. In this video, we will use it to install and run Ubuntu on a Windows system. If you already have Virtualbox installed, you can skip this step. If not, you can download it from its official site. Open your favorite web browser and search for Virtualbox. This is the official website of it. Select the host system's platform. It will download the latest version. If you have the iOS image of Ubuntu, you can use that. If not, you can download it from the official site. The official site contains many download links. The default link receives a large number of requests. If you use the default download link, your download speed may slow. For example, as you can see here, I'm getting the download speed in kbps even if I have a cable internet connection. With this speed, the downloading may take up to hours. To speed up the downloading, you can use alternative links. Alternative links contain the mirror images of the official iOS image. This page lists all official mirrors. Select the mirror that has the highest bandwidth speed. For example, this mirror offers the highest bandwidth. We can use it to download the iOS image file. Select the latest iOS version. It will take us to the next page. It contains all download options. Download the iOS image file from here. Now, see the difference between the download speeds. With the default link, I am getting speed in kbps. With the alternate link, I am getting speed in mbps. Since I have already downloaded this file, I am canceling this download. After downloading both files, we need to set up Virtualbox. The installation process is straightforward. It includes only a few options. The first option allows us to customize the installation location. Select the partition on which you want to install Virtualbox. You can also make a new folder and rename it to Virtualbox. After selecting the destination location, click Next. The installation process resets the network interface. If you are doing any online activity, such as downloading or uploading a file, you should first complete that. Click Yes to continue the installation process. The next screen has 4 options. The first option creates a Start menu entry. The second option places a shortcut link on the desktop. The third option adds a link to the Quick Access toolbar. The fourth option registers file association. The first 3 options allow us to customize how we access Virtualbox after the installation. When we open a file on a Windows system, it uses the file's extension to select software that can open it. The next screen shows the license agreement. We must accept the license agreement to install it. The next screen shows the confirmation message for installation. If you want to make any changes to the selection, you can use the back button to go to that setting. The installation process takes a few seconds. The last screen allows us to start Virtualbox just after the installation. The new option on the home screen creates a new virtual machine. The process starts with a wizard. The home screen includes all the necessary options. This field sets a name for the virtual machine. This field sets the location where we want to save this virtual machine. Use the other option to browse partitions. Select the partition where you want to save this machine. You can also make a folder to save the machine in a specific folder. Next, we select the Ubuntu iOS image file that we downloaded. With the default selection, Virtualbox automatically installs the operating system from the selected iOS image file. To manually install it, we must check this box. Next, we configure the RAM and CPU core for this virtual machine. It is the total available memory on the host system. These are the available CPU cores. This indicator shows the maximum RAM and CPU we can assign to this virtual machine. The minimum recommended RAM is 4 GB. You can assign 2 CPU cores to this machine. The next screen specifies the hard disk size. The minimum recommended size is 20 GB. If we select this option, it immediately allocates all the space we set here. This option allows us to use an existing hard disk. This option creates the virtual machine without the hard disk. The next screen shows the summary of all configurations. To change any configuration, use the back button. To create the virtual machine with the selected configuration, click Finish. The Start button starts this virtual machine. It is the current configuration of this virtual machine. You can change this configuration at any time. The only restriction is that the machine must be powered off. The first screen of the installation process presents 3 options. The first option allows us to test or install Ubuntu. It is the default selection. The installation process automatically executes this option after 30 seconds if we do not select any other option. The second option starts Ubuntu in the safe mode. You can use this option if the first option does not work. The third option allows us to test memory. You can use this option to debug memory. The virtual machine automatically captures the mouse pointer when we move the cursor point over it. To release the cursor point, you need to press the host key. VirtualBox automatically assigns a host key. If required, you can change it from here. The installation process may stop with this error message. If you get this error message, you need to change the display configuration of the virtual machine. As we know, we cannot change a virtual machine configuration in the running state. To update the display configuration, we need to power off this machine. Power off the virtual machine. Once the machine is powered off, open the settings. In the display setting, change the graphic controller to VMSVGA. If this option is selected, you need to uncheck this option. It's not required, but you can increase memory to 64 MB. It will improve the performance of the virtual machine. Save the settings. There is one more setting that you need to check and update. If your system is running Hyper-V, you need to disable it. You can disable it from the control panel or PowerShell. To disable it from the control panel, open the control panel. Open the program and feature. Open Turn Windows features on or off. Scroll to the hypervisor setting. Uncheck this option. Depending on the Windows version, this option may look different or have another name on your system. After this change, based on the system configuration, Windows may ask you to restart the system. You can also disable this feature from the PowerShell. Open the PowerShell. On the PowerShell, run this command. I have added this command in the description. You can copy it from there. If Hyper-V is running, it will disable that. If not, it will display this message. After making these changes, start or open VirtualBox again. You need to mount the iOS image again. After mounting the iOS image, start the virtual machine again. Keep the default option on the first screen. Ubuntu loads on the RAM. This process may take up to a minute. Ubuntu automatically starts the installation process. The first screen of the installation process localizes the language. Select your preferred language for installation. The next screen allows you to configure accessibility options. If you need any accessibility option, you can configure it from here. If not, click Next. The next screen localizes the keyboard layout. By default, it automatically selects the appropriate layout. If you want to use another layout, you can select it from this list. You can also use this button to detect it. The next screen seeks permission to use the internet during the installation. If we allow the installation process to connect to the internet, it automatically downloads and installs all essential packages we need after the installation. If any updates are available, it also downloads and installs them. If the host system is connected to the internet and you are not on a data plan, you should always allow the installation process to connect to the internet. Since we allowed the installation process to use the internet, it checked for the update and found it. If you want to update it right now, click here. To update it later, you can skip it now. The next screen has two options. The first option allows us to install Ubuntu on this system. The second option lets us use Ubuntu without installation. Select the first option and click Next. The next screen has two options, interactive installation and automated installation. If we select the first option, the installation process starts in interactive mode. In this mode, we manually provide answers to all questions. If we select the second option, the installation process starts in automated mode. In this mode, a configuration file provides answers to all questions. To use this mode, you must create an answer file first. Administrators use this option to install Ubuntu on multiple systems simultaneously. Select the first option and click Next. The next screen allows us to select the software packages we want with the default installation. If we choose the first option, it installs only essential packages, such as a web browser, calculator, and text editors. If we choose the second option, it installs the most commonly used packages, such as Office, Rhythmbox, and media editors. Select the second option and click Next. By default, Ubuntu does not install any third-party proprietary packages. However, this screen has options to instruct the installation process to download and install all necessary third-party packages and drivers. Tick both checkboxes and click Next. The next screen presents the disk partition scheme. It has two options, automatic and manual. The first option automatically erases the entire disk and makes all the necessary partitions. It automatically selects the appropriate size for each partition. We have no control over which partitions it makes and what size it chooses for each partition. However, it gives a couple of options to customize this process. This button reveals these options. The first option is the default. It uses the default partition types to create all the necessary partitions. The second option creates LVM partitions on the free disk space. The third option creates LVM partitions on the free disk space and enables encryption on partitions. The fourth option erases the entire disk and creates ZFS partitions. The fifth option erases the entire disk, creates ZFS partitions, and enables encryption. The sixth option enables hardware-backed full disk encryption. The second option allows to create and format partitions manually. We can specify the size of each partition. We can skip optional partitions or add any additional partitions of our choice. We can also select the file system for each partition. Select the second option and click Next. The first screen of the manual partitioning lists all attached hard disks and available free space on each disk. Select the disk on which you want to install Ubuntu. Click the plus button. It opens a new window. The open window contains three form fields: size, used as, and mount point. The size field sets the partition size. It lists supported units in a dropdown. It automatically converts the specified size in the selected unit. The used as dropdown lists supported file systems. The mount point dropdown lists mount points. All these fields are compulsory. We must specify the partition size and select the unit for the specified size. We must select a mount point for each partition. We must select a file system for each partition. There are a few compulsory partitions. If we are doing the manual installation, we must create these partitions. The root partition is the base of the Linux file system. All other partitions are mounted under it. The home partition saves user data. All users get a home directory in this partition. The boot partition saves the default bootloader file. And finally, create a 2 GB swap partition. The swap partition does not need a mount point. Linux uses the swap space to save temporary memory pages. Since it does not save user data, it does not need a mount point. The installation process does not make these partitions immediately. It keeps this information in RAM until we confirm the installation process after providing all the necessary information. It allows us to change or update any setting before the installation starts. For example, let us change the size of this partition to 18 GB. Again, it updates this information only in the RAM. If we want to make all partitions again, we can remove all these entries from the Revert button. The next screen creates a user account and sets the computer name. It automatically generates the computer name from the user name. If you like the auto-generated name, you can keep it. If not, you can manually set it. Set a password for the user. It checks the specified password and displays how complex it is. On a production system, you should use a complex password. On a testing system, you can use a simple password. If we uncheck this option, it does not ask this user to enter the password at the login screen. If we check this option, we can use an Active Directory user account to log in. The next screen localizes the time zone. Click on the map to select your preferred time zone. The next screen displays a summary of all settings. Till this time, it does not write anything to the disk. If we want to change any setting, we can change it. Let us start the installation. The installation process may take several minutes. During this process, it displays a detailed overview of the features and functions of Ubuntu. A few settings require a system reboot. The last screen asks the user to restart the system. Remove the installation disk and restart the system. After booting, the installation process lists the default account we created during the installation process on the login screen. When a user logs in the first time, Ubuntu starts a setup wizard. The first screen of this wizard allows us to register the system for the Ubuntu Pro program. Ubuntu Pro is a paid feature. It provides paid support. Ubuntu is an open-source operating system. You do not need to pay anything to download, install, and use it. You will also get community-based support free of cost. In many circumstances, community-based support alone is not enough. You may need faster support. In that case, you may consider buying paid support from Ubuntu. On the next screen, we select whether we want to share system data with Ubuntu. If we choose yes, the system automatically sends error logs and crash reports to the Ubuntu log server after excluding all personal information. The last screen suggests opening the App Center to download essential apps. Click Finish to close the wizard. With this, the installation process ends. Now, the Ubuntu system is ready to use. That's all for this video. If you have any suggestions, comments, or feedback about this video, please share them in the comment section given below.